In 1990, and this is a significant point, Iraq invades Kuwait, and Osama bin Laden travels back to his home of Saudi Arabia to offer 12,000 of his armed military personnel to help repel this invasion of Afghanistan into Kuwait for completely selfish motives. They just, Iraq wanted to control the oil there, and they saw Kuwait as defenseless, and they didn't anticipate such international reaction. Osama bin Laden approached the Saudi royals and offered to help them in resisting this, but discovered that Saudi Arabia had authorized the U.S. military to enter their territory. Now, again, I need to reiterate that a lot of fundamentalist Muslims, because of the Crusades, it is unthinkable that a Muslim country who claims legitimacy would allow a Western force to freely enter their lands, and the Saudi Arabian government gains their legitimacy through their promise to defend the holy sites of Mecca and Medina. And so when Osama bin Laden found out that this was going on, he was infuriated with the Saudi Arabian government and denounced their actions. All right, let's move on. So, rather than returning to Saudi Arabia, he moves to Sudan. Spends a couple of years there, probably pretty quiet, it's hard to know. During this time he gets his divorce with Ali, who it's claimed left him because of they were living pretty much in squalor in Sudan for some reason, despite his vast amounts of money. His family, the Bin Laden group, is very wealthy. They have a lot of ties to Saudi Arabian royalty. And another thing important in Muslim law is that no one can claim ownership of anything which is not rightfully theirs. What this means is often in inheritance issues, things get split very evenly, and money that is intended for one child is often saved. It's thought that if a different child uses that, it's against the will of God. So it's often believed that, or many believe that he had sources of money through his family discreetly. And this will continue for probably another 10 years. There's evidence of that. So he spends a couple of years in Sudan. In 1993, this is a weird one. There's someone within the U.S. government reports under oath that Osama bin Laden buys a military plane from the U.S. Traveling to Arizona, he makes the purchase, and then he flies the plane from Texas overseas. It's thought that later this plane is used to transport missiles between regions in the Middle East. That's a strange report, but that is what was reported. That would be an easy one to disbelieve. But moving on, we're now to 1994. Saudi Arabia revokes his citizenship because of his radical leanings, and his family officially denounces him and officially breaks ties with him, but for several years he will continue to receive visits from his stepmother, and again, it's also believed he's still receiving funding both from Saudi Arabia covertly and also from the bin Laden family. In 1995, he is involved in the bombings, a couple bombings in Saudi Arabia, most notably the Khobar Towers. Interestingly, Osama bin Laden is widely believed to be responsible for these bombings, but his family, his father, the Bin Laden Group, their company, receives many of the contracts to rebuild these buildings. So it's kind of interesting that his father is earning money from his actions. Anyways, 1996. This is a huge year, and this is where things start getting really radical. Sudan asks him to leave because of U.S. and Egyptian pressure. So he decides to go to Afghanistan, where he had been fighting for so long, and quickly befriends the Taliban there, a new leadership in Afghanistan. This is about where he starts getting attention for his terrorist activities. He begins getting involved in the drug trade. There's evidence of Saudi Arabia funding Al-Qaeda at this time. This is also when Al-Qaeda is pretty much first formed out of the remnants of MAK. There's evidence that the ISI, that being Pakistan's intelligence service, helps set up, turns over, and helps funds several camps for training. Also at this time, the NSA gets a phone tap on a satellite phone that Osama bin Laden is using, although they refuse to share it with the FBI. So the FBI sets up several local towers in the area so that they can monitor those same phone calls. However, they can only hear one side of the conversation. Osama bin Laden would continue to use this phone for a couple years before he gets paranoid enough to get rid of it. Also at this time, the FBI sets up a phone booth in the area within Afghanistan that they can fully monitor both sides of the conversation of, and they have a camera in there so that they can watch the people who are using the phone. This phone isn't used by Osama bin Laden, but it allows them to track some of the activities of Al-Qaeda. I should point out here too that Al-Qaeda literally means the base. Some argue that this just refers to the foundation, as in an organization. Others claim that Al-Qaeda, the term Al-Qaeda, was actually first used by the CIA to refer to many mercenary operatives that the CIA had been using back during the rebellion against the Soviet, or the resistance against the Soviet invasion in Afghanistan. Happy birthday!